I'm Commander Shepard, and Ready, Aim, Fire is my favorite podcast on the Citadel. Now, I should go.
Welcome to this special episode, live recording of the Ready, Aim, Fire podcast. This is going to help us kick off season 2. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe. And we are starting as we mean to go on with the incredibly talented Jennifer Hale. Thank you for joining us, Jennifer.
My pleasure, Tom. Thank you for having me.
So I wanted to, what's your secret to like longevity and the success that you've had in the games industry, being at the top of your game for decades?
Show up on time, be as good as you possibly can at what you do, listen and do what they say.
Perfect.
And have a good time. Be easy to work with.
Okay, so you've mentioned as well in past interviews that voice actors especially are sometimes not given any time to prepare, or you call it cold reading.
Yeah, it's called reading.
So can you tell me a little bit more about that and how you prepare for that stuff?
I have the good fortune to also work a lot in animation, and it's a very different way of working. Like, for example, in animation, if we were doing a show, we would be taking turns, and either we're in the same studio recording live, or we're virtual via Zoom, or they're taking us one at a time, but we're sharing the load of the story, and we get to see the story ahead of time. We get to see the script ahead of time. And so we get a bit of time to prepare. It used to be 95% of games. Now it's about, 80-85% of the games that we work in. We do not see the script. We don't see the line until we walk in the booth and they put the line up in front of us on the computer. And we just have to make a bunch of actor decisions about how we're going to do it, plug in all of our specifics, and listen to the voice director. And voice directors are really what make the whole thing work, and we just go. Like, for example, in Mass Effect, I would see the line because they had it, by the time we got to 2, it was just all on a digital monitor. It wasn't on paper. And I would see the line, and it might be, the other thing is it's out of sequence. In an animated series, generally you go from the beginning to the end of that episode. It might be a line from a third of the way into the story, one from almost the end, one back to the beginning, and then they're in the middle, and you're bouncing all over the place. And you just have to commit and literally live in the moment. So when people say to me, do you remember that line? I'm like, I saw it once, I said it 3 times, and now you listen to it.
Do you ever get surprised when you hear yourself back and I don't remember recording something like that, or being that angry or that happy? Or
I don't really watch my work very much. I actually watched the first season of X-Men 97 just because we were all going to get together for the premiere, and I wanted to be able to speak intelligently, and I really wanted to see everyone else's work so I could, congratulate them because they were amazing. And that's one of the few times I've watched my work. I don't generally do it.
I know you're not a gamer.
I suck at it. I suck at it.
When you do some of these roles, do you ever know that they're going to become so iconic? I'm thinking specifically of Bastila Shan in Knights of the Old Republic, one of my personal favourites. You're obviously now part of the Star Wars universe. That character is like a cult favourite.
Thank you.
Do you ever know when you do these lines, this is going to be big, or is it just sort of hit and hope?
I don't think about that piece of it, because I've been doing this since I was in high school, or secondary school, like as you call it. And I know enough to know that I know nothing. I know nothing, Jon Snow. I know nothing. And I've been on projects where they have spent a fortune flying us to another city, to a big, performance capture stage, hotels and great dinners and days of, huge volumes and great technology. And that game went nowhere. I've had games like that. And then I've had tiny little games that were just Kickstarters that have blown up. You just don't know what's going to hit, where, when, and how.
And that's not what you're doing it, you were saying.
No, I don't focus on that. When I show up, my greatest motivation is to serve the piece. What did that incredible writer put down? I think writing is the highest of jobs. I think writers make the world go round, because without them, we have nothing. We have no content. They're the ones who sat inside in the dark, or in the chair alone and channeled the muse so the rest of us could have a job and have something cool to do. I mean, that's not why they did it, but that's the end result. And I just don't see myself as primary in that equation. I know I have a definite role to play, so to speak, but it's not about me.
I think it was Alan Rickman who said, writers create and actors interpret.
Yeah.
So, how much road do you get to interpret a character?
Depends. Yeah. Depends on the project. Some projects have really intense technical requirements, like BioWare's projects, especially, things where like Star Wars, The Old Republic online game, or Mass Effect, for example. You have multiple people playing the player role. So you have to adhere to the punctuation, not just to the letter. Because if you start making stuff up and interpreting, they've got, anywhere from 2 to 6 other people who've got to do this, and you're going to mess them up on the other side. On the other hand, you take something like BioShock Infinite, where we got to, Oliver and I, Oliver plays Robert Lutece, and I was Rosalind Lutece, and we got to record together. And we got to improvise, we got to play. We would do one as written, and then Ken Levine would say, "What do you want to do? Let's play." And row, row, row your boat. It was really, really fun.
So when you're working with other actors, and I couldn't have you on the show without obviously talking about Mass Effect. Working with...
Sorry, what is that? I don't know that game.
I think everyone... Do we know what Mass Effect is? I think it's safe to say. When you're doing a character like Commander Shepard, I think it's one of the first characters where you have identical lines for a male version of a character and a female version of a character. Did you ever feel like not jealousy, but like a sense of ownership over that character, or was it sort of a very collaborative process working alongside Mark and doing the same role?
Mass Effect came out of BioWare Edmonton. It's a Canadian company. And I don't know that people realize how much the Canadian culture informs both the game itself, the writing, and the way it was produced, and the production process of the whole thing. Collaborative all the way. I mean, in the beginning, when we did Mass Effect 1, they would, if Mark had already recorded, they would send down to LA where I was, Mark's lines so I could hear the timing of them, so I could match timing and make sure intent was in the same ballpark. And I would generally do an ABC in that first one. That's what we call multiple takes of the same line. I do the line exactly in the rhythm and the tone of what I heard. And then I would follow it up with my own kind of freedom within that tone. And then I would do a third one that was just my interpretation within that timing. Yeah, and then they would pick what they wanted.
So you're giving the choice to the devs. Okay, that's interesting. So you're Canadian-American, I believe?
I am.
But you said that your inner monologue has a British accent.
Yeah.
First of all, why? And second of all, how do you do accents so well?
Thank you. I have many inner monologues, but ever since I was little, I don't know why. I dream in French, and I have, not all the time, but every now and then, it's a long time. I don't know why. And I'll be in these places, and I'm like, I don't know why I'm doing this, but that's part of the great mystery of existence. So okay, tell me what you think the answer to this is. How much of the visible light spectrum can human beings see?
Can we change this in post if I get this wrong?
You're going to get it wrong. Just
how
surrender.
Much of the visible? 38%.
Point.
Oh.
0.035.
Interesting.
How much of all the matter that the scientists have figured out that there is in the universe do you think we can perceive? What percentage?
Point.
Okay.
3%.
4%. And that's humans deciding they could see 4%. There's so much we don't know. Like, who knows what artists and creative people are channeling through their their work. It's wild. It's absolutely wild. And I've totally squirreled away from your question. I don't remember what it was.
You said you dream in French. I'm assuming that made you speak
Not
French.
always, but sometimes.
But,
even very early on, I remember having dreams like that. But who knows what? It was probably some horrible version of franglais or something. I love accents. I went to a fine arts high school, and we formally learned the IPA, the International Phonetic Alphabet, and we studied dialects and things like that. And my mother used to pretend to be other people, and she would speak other languages. So and my father had an incredible ear for dialects and languages, and I didn't grow up with him, but when I found him again, I noticed that, and it was great. It was really entertaining. So it's always kind of stuck with me. And I started singing in rock clubs when I was 15, and we would cover other people's material, and I had to nail, from my own standards, I had to nail how they did it. So I've always been listening to other people.
So you've had a lot of influence that's made you who you are as an actor.
Yeah.
How important would you say, especially in voice acting, is a good director?
Oh, in any kind of performance, a good director is everything. Good material is what it starts with. Otherwise, he needs to do commercials in a small city in the U.S. down south. And when we get the not great commercial copy, we call it polishing turds. It's just what you have to do. You got to make it sound good. So when you get great writing, it's joyful. It's the worst tragedy of the world. It's joyful because it's great writing. And then when you get a great director, I am the sum of the people I've worked with. Any, talent I have and skill I have and accomplishments are really the sum of the people I've worked with, the people I've learned from, the people I've been surrounded by, my peers. Voice actors are so inspiring. They're some of the most brilliantly talented, funny, intelligent, easy to be around people you can imagine. Yeah.
Have you ever directed anything yourself, or is that something you would want to do?
No. I wouldn't. I like to connect people. I'm a connector. Like, I am always championing, a project somewhere, or connecting a person with another person. I don't have great ambitions to direct. I'm not saying I never would, but I don't presuppose to know what I would need to know to direct. Yeah. I don't know if I have the level of presumption necessary to step across the line.
But you are helping other voice actors. I believe it's skillshub.life.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about this. Like, what is one piece of advice you would give to any budding voice actor, what to do and what not to do? Go
to skillshub.life. So that would tell you. No, truly. Because what we've created is a platform that serves everybody at all levels of their career. You can go on there, I think it's $21.99 US a month. And what you get for that, I wrote out exact instructions for how to go from nothing to a paying career in several different genres of the industry. I've gathered information from others to do the same for other genres. And then along the way, we've folded in classes that you can choose to take when you're ready. We've folded in opportunities to coach. People can coach with people who are starring in the stuff they want to be working in, who are directing it, and who are casting it. You can book, and we book coaching by the minute. You don't have to book an hour. You book 10 minutes with someone. And what I love about it is you can trust these people. We require that coaches be working in the field they're coaching or be a trusted resource to people who are working in the field they're coaching, so you can trust them. And what I love about it, there's a community there. We have these spaces called workout rooms or virtual meetup rooms, and people get together and they'll practice commercial copy or just talk about where they're at in their process or try game scripts or whatever, and they're free and they're going on multiple times a day and in all time zones. It's an incredible resource. It's a beautiful community of people because our culture is we uplift each other and we have each other's backs and we tell each other the truth in a kind and supportive way.
Sounds great. Like skillshub.life.
Yeah.
A bit on the screen. Obviously, one of the big sort of challenges that actors are facing at the moment is the rise of AI, the rise of the machines.
Yeah.
In past interviews, you've actually been quite phlegmatic about everything and said that, producers and actors need to find common ground.
Yes.
What do you think that the next 5 years is going to look like, and how do you think that we can make sure that, jobs are protected, human creativity is protected, but we're not, turning away from technology?
We have to take responsibility. AI is a tool. I say this all the time. It's a tool like a hammer's a tool. I can take my hammer and I can build you a house. Or I can take my hammer and break your kneecaps. I'm the one who wielded the hammer. I'm the one responsible for that decision. Mm-hmm. It lies in our hands as human beings. And that goes down to, what are you reposting? Is it AI? You need to say it if it's AI, if you can possibly figure it out. And to that end, there will come a time in the not too distant future when we won't be able to tell. I think it's really important that we not other the technology. Mm-hmm. We partner with the technology. And as far as performers go and artists go and creators go, there are three really basic tenets that I think will guide us in a very responsible way. A person deserves the right to have control over where their image goes, where their sound goes, where their voice goes. They deserve to be able to have the right to consent or not consent. I don't want my voice used for something I don't support. I don't want it used when I don't give consent. And they deserve to be compensated. This is the way I make a living. If you look at it en masse, whether you're a corporation, which, by the way, is made up of humans making decisions. You don't get to hide behind that, that logo. What's the consequence of this decision? Is it going to put someone out of work? Is there a way I can compensate them? Is there a way to avoid that? Is there a way to partner with these things? Can I license their work and make sure that they're taken care of? Because, what happens if everybody is suddenly unemployed? Because we are looking at, I've seen consistent predictions of 30 to 40% unemployment in the next 10, 15 years from AI. Mm. Entertainers are just the tip of the iceberg. AI is coming for all of us. So we get to make proactive decisions about providing for people. We know what happens when a bunch of people lose their ability to make a living. You've all read history. You've all seen Elysium. Everybody knows what Bastille Day is, right?
Yeah.
I think it's important that we're really conscious about this process and that we slow our roll. And the slowdown comes in that moment when you make a decision. Just pause. What are the unintended consequences of what I'm about to do? And I'm responsible for those. Whether I want to accept it or not, I am.
We all thought that AI was going to do sort of the hard, horrible jobs, like the not that acting isn't hard, but like the heavy lifting and all manual labor and things like that, and it's actually coming at creative roles, which is something I don't think anyone really saw coming.
Yeah, I'm not right now. I'm not actually terribly afraid, honestly, because the human soul is something very unique and very divine, and you can see that. Like, imagine you've played a game, watched an animated show, or watched a film or television show where an actor is giving a great performance, and you're like, wow, that's really cool. And then you've watched one where the actor's actually living what's happening, and you can't even speak when they're done. It's like, you can feel the difference, can you not? Mm-hmm. That is the human soul in action. At this point in time, and I think in the near future, you can't yet duplicate the human soul. And I think that's what we're all hungry for. And I think people may be fascinated with AI, may use AI, but it falls hollow. It falls flat. We are yearning for the expression of the divinity of our own soul in the things that we consume. That's why we have storytelling. That's why we have music and art. It's the expression of the human soul. And even the AI stuff is the human soul trying to see if it can clone itself, It's all divinity, and I think that's what we hunger for, and I think that's right now what will keep us still going. I'm not afraid. I think it's important to not be afraid. I think it's important to seek, again, ways to partner responsibly.
Speaking of great performances, we actually had a question from one of our Instagram followers about you. What was a role that you did where you felt like it didn't necessarily get the recognition it deserved, or a game that you worked on that should have been a bigger hit?
Oh, my goodness. I always think, who am I to say? I don't own the market. Goodness, a game. I've been so lucky. I mean, I love my indie games. I love me a good AAA. I'm a sucker for performance capture. My God, I love that. But I love, The Long Dark has gotten some great love from the community. I would love for the wider world of gaming itself to turn around and acknowledge the brilliance of that game and the brilliance of that business, how it's been put together, how it runs, how it responds. It's amazing.
It's a wonderful game.
Oh, you had it
when it first came out.
Yeah. How many times you die of your own stupidity, right?
Yeah, too many times, more than I have in Elden Ring, I think. But yeah.
And the crazy thing for those of you who don't know, about that game is you really do die of your own stupidity. I should have picked up the can opener. Oh my God, I froze to death. Yeah.
Mauled by wolves.
You're mauled by wolves because we didn't open.
Or I missed with the one pistol shot I had. Yes. What would be one of your favourite lines, or some of your favourite lines from some of the many, many characters you've played over the years?
Oh, good Lord.
I'm sure you've been asked this a million times.
Oh, my God. Okay, this can be very loud. I'll move my microphone.
I want to be a Powerpuff Girl, but Daddy said I couldn't.
Princess Morbucks, because she's such a brat. And,
Sorry to the sound test.
Yeah, right. Sorry, Julia. I won't be like that again. I love the classic Shepard line, tell your friends we're coming for them. I love that. Oh, there's so many. My gosh. Cinderella.
Do animals talk to you too?
From Wreck-It Ralph. It was so funny.
It's amazing, you're a chameleon in terms of your voice, because I think in one interview I read, or an article I read about you, said that, and it meant this in the nicest way, you're untraceable, in that you could be many, many different people and wear many different faces. Why do you think you have this sort of ability to shapeshift between different characters?
That's time. It's just time and training. And that's the unfancy answer. There are lots of esoteric reasons why. I'm one of those introvert extroverts. I can be out with people all day, and then all of a sudden I'm like, I'm all done humans. I have to go. So I can walk through a crowd and disappear because I'm just done. I also, I like my privacy. And if I had done as many on-camera roles as I have voiceover roles, I could go nowhere in peace. Everybody would be like, hey! And I'd be like, oh, God, I have to be social right now.
So it gives you the ability to sort of, just
I can disappear.
Have your life as well as your career.
Yeah, it's wonderful. There was an article that Tom Bissell is an absolutely brilliant writer, and he's been a journalist as well for many years. He wrote a piece in the New Yorker about me and my work. Oh my God. But the original title of that article was meant to be The Invisible Girl, and it appeared in one of his anthologies of interviews as that. And I kind of love that. I love the ability to disappear because then I'm less likely to be put in a box.
Yeah.
Like I love that I can have Rivet sitting next to Shepard, sitting next to Princess Morbug, sitting next to Ash, whoever. Like I love that I get to have that level of freedom. Freedom is everything to me.
Is that the same journalist who made you play Mass Effect for the first time?
Yes. Tom.
What was that like?
It was miserable. I'm horrible at it. Oh my God.
Did you go Paragon or Renegade?
I just tried to get through the room.
Right.
It took me an hour just to get down a hallway. Are you kidding me? I'm so bad at it. I never developed the ability to play, for one thing. And for another, when we record, I'll get a certain level of detail about a line, but we don't have all day. I have like that long for them to give me context. I do a line like 2, maybe 4 times. I mean, okay, maybe for really noodling it, it's like 6 or 7 times. And then it goes to market. So there's a lot of context and nuance I don't know. So when I played that game, I was like, oh my God, I just want to re-record everything. If I knew that, I would have done it just a little differently. It drove me nuts. Oh.
You touched on it very briefly at the start of this talk, but what are the major differences between working on an animated series and working on a video game?
Yeah. On a series, again, it's a lighter workload. It's a 4-hour radio play versus a 4-hour one-person show. You're working in sequence most of the time. You have a lot more context to work from. And you're covering far less material in a day. I mean, I might have 30 lines if it's a little bit, more intensive of a script, or, 50 in an animated episode. And I'll get through, a couple hundred at least in a game session. I mean, one day I walked into a Mass Effect session, and I like to get the count. On a game session, I need to count when I walk in the door, because that tells me how much time I can catch up with the people I work with, because I love them and I want to know how their kids are and how their animals are and all the things. And like, how much time do we have to chat? And if the count's high, we don't have much time. I'm like, good to see you, let's go. And I also know, okay, I better have somebody boil the water for me, because on my break, I got to grab the tea, run to the loo, get back in here, we got to go. So I walk in this one day and I said to Caroline Livingstone was directing, and I said, what's our count? She goes, oh, no. And I was like, what's the count? She's like, no, it's high. And I was like, what is it? She goes, well, Steve doesn't think we'll get through it. I'm like, tell me the count. And she goes, 563. And I was like, let's go. And we did it. Jesus, it was intense. A lot of short lines in that one. But sometimes your lines are like big paragraphs. And also in a game, you're leading people. You're responsible for a lot of exposition. Sometimes it's like, well, if I'd stopped at the thing in the corner under the blanket, then you have to find a way to do that well.
Yeah, I'm trying to. I can't think of any off the top of my head, but there's lots of games where it's like, oh, maybe we should look here.
Yeah.
There we get it. I'm not playing it correctly. I get it.
Yeah, it's a thing to be able to do that correctly, or in a way that doesn't feel really cheesy.
So when you look back on your career, what would you want fans to think of as like your legacy towards the world of video games and acting?
That I inspired them to know that they can do whatever they need to, that I inspired them to feel strong within themselves and empowered within themselves, and that they had a great time.
I'm going to ask you something that you've been asked a million times, I'm sure.
Oh, Tom.
But if I was to tell you that that's your camera, and if I was to tell you that they had podcasts on the Citadel, what would Commander Shepard say?
I'm Commander Shepard, and Ready, Aim, Fire is my favorite podcast on the Citadel. Now, I should go.
Thank you so much. Jennifer, I think that's all we've got time for. It's been absolutely wonderful talking to you and meeting you in person. Everyone watching, and for those of you at home, please like and subscribe and continue watching the Ready and Fire podcast season 2.
Cheers, and thank you all.